I can only book travel in coach class? Okay. Shortly before COVID brought all manner of traveling work to a screeching halt, I was finishing up a job and getting ready to book my travel home. Normally everyone would just fly, and in my case that meant a nice short trip of about 2 hours in the air. However, this particular location and the route back home for me had an extremely scenic train route that took about 12 hours, and as a bonus, I could get a sleeper car for a pretty cheap price. Less, even, than the flight. I asked my boss if there was any reason I had to fly instead of taking the train, as the latter would save them money, and he said it would be fine. I didn't waste his time or mine by mentioning any of the above details. I simply booked my ticket and immediately sent in the receipt for reimbursement. Not 20 minutes later, I get an email, paraphrasing, "WTF is this? I thought you said you were going to book travel that would save us money. What do you think you're doing booking a sleeper car? You're not one of the big shots out here. Send me a new receipt for your coach class accommodations." Okay, as you wish. QMC. Since this happened so quickly, I was able to cancel my $150 train ticket without issue. And since there was no way I was taking a 12-hour train ride in coach instead of a 2-hour flight, I booked my air travel like I normally would and immediately sent in the $450 receipt for my coach class flight. I got yet another email asking me what the hell I was doing. Now, I'm good at booking travel and I know how to find good prices. I knew that there wasn't a cheaper flight to be had, so I wrote back, "Sorry, this is the cheapest coach class flight I could find. If you can find a better one, please let me know before the 24-hour cancellation window closes and I'll be happy to book that instead." Clearly frustrated, they told me to stop playing games, cancel the flight, and just buy the dang train ticket. I didn't. I took the flight home and got reimbursed per company policy for my coach class flight.
Now to the comments. Ha 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 ha, I did the same dang thing. I booked a bus ticket home for a 10-hour bus ride home. It was an executive type bus that caters to business crowd. I'm talking all first class with huge chairs that lay all the way down to sleep. Got an email within minutes of booking that they were not paying for first class accommodations and to book coach. Turned around and booked coach flight home and ticket went from $190 to $450. Duck them.
Did you get a reaction from them?
No, because I was in compliance then. Same thing for getting laundry done out on the road. They get mad when I turn in receipt for soap and using washing machine and dryer, but don't blink an eye when I have hotel do it and it costs them an arm and a leg. So busy watching how the pennies are spent that they lose sight of the dollars.
Forever 21 heading into bankruptcy really embodied this. Apparently corporate travel expenses were approved by the CEO, who would nitpick coffee purchases and such. The CEO.
Not just wasting time, but wasting the most expensive time in the organization. Clever. Similar thing happened to me years ago. I found a first-class airline ticket for less than coach. I booked it, was told nope, then I had to rebook and pay more for a coach ticket. Clearly, it wasn't about the money.
Once the auto kiosk offered me to upgrade to first class for $20. Yeah, I'll do that. Didn't get it reimbursed, but it was worth it.
Always check your airline's app before you check in. I booked a 10-hour flight on Delta over the summer and there was some weird bug with the systems, and when I was checking the app a day or two before we left to try to change my seat, it gave me a $100 upgrade to first class from my economy seat. 2 first-class seats on that flight would normally cost half what someone makes in a year, and I got it for $1,200, $1,100 for 2 economy seats and $100 for 2 upgrades. That was definitely a one-off thing cause as I said, it was only because of a computer glitch, but even without it they were offering $2,000 upgrades, which is a good deal considering purchasing a first-class seat upfront is normally $8,000 each. They witched about a $150 ticket. That seems cheap for 12 hours, especially for a sleeper car.
They witched about a lowly worker having above his pay grade amenities. The cost of the ticket didn't matter. It was his goal to get something nice at a cheaper cost.
I booked a business trip one time through work, and I realized since my wife was going with me and was a rewards member of the hotel chain where we were staying, I put the rooms in her name. This saved my work about $200 over 3 days because her reward level gave us free Wi-Fi, comp breakfast, and several other perks. When I turned in my receipts, you would think I broke into the safe and stole money. It took me multiple phone calls with supervisors to get the finance department to understand what I did. I finally told them they wouldn't have to worry next time, I would just charge it all and they could just pay for it.
When I travel for work and have good friends/family in the city I go to, I try to stay at their place when they offer. I don't like hotels and it's a nice opportunity to spend time with people I don't get to see often. When I do that, I always buy them dinner at least once during my stay. I think that it's basic courtesy when someone lets you stay at their place for a few days. Here I'm talking about buying dinner for 1 or 2 people on top of myself, not a couple with 5 kids. And we don't go to expensive places. Anyway, it's always a pain in the ass to have expenses reimbursed. Why should we pay for this person's meal? Well, maybe because they saved you the expense of 4 hotel nights while I stayed at their place?
Where I work, they'll comp you $50 a night if you arrange your own accommodation, which is surprisingly forward-thinking. That's like saying no, you may not book a room in Hotel A, because it's €82 a room and our travel policy only allows €80 a room in that city. But you may book a room in Hotel B which is €79 a room and get reimbursed for the €14 each way taxi trip that you need because that room is much further away from the office.
My favorite was my company refusing to expense getting breakfast from the train station, so I went the night before and got dinner, an hotel room and breakfast instead.
My company doesn't reimburse meals in your home city, so, on my international flights, instead of eating at my local small cheap airport, I would eat after getting to SF or Seattle, which qualified for reimbursement. And since by the time I'd land in Asia, it would be tomorrow, I had a full day's per diem to use in SF/Seattle. I went on an international business and asked to extend the trip by 1 day so I could do some sightseeing. She said 1 week out of the office was enough and she wanted me back. This required me to travel back on a holiday, which she clearly was forgetting is automatic double time. Our company pays employees the entire time you're traveling, so by the end of that travel day I was owed for 32 hours of work. She tried to fight me on it and I already had an email from HR with written confirmation that I was correct.
I wish I got paid for travel time. Over half my trips are at least 20 hours each way portal to portal, and it's usually on or over a weekend.
If you are not being paid for travel time, this could be an employment law violation. If you live in California as your user's name suggests, a quick Google search confirms that you should be paid at least minimum wage for your travel time. Also, those hours are included in your total daily/weekly hours and subject to normal OT rules. California overtime laws require non-exempt employees to earn 1.5 times their regular rate of pay when they work more than 8 hours in a workday, more than 40 hours in a work week, or more than 6 consecutive days in a work week. Yep, happened to me once. I took the train, $11, instead of driving/hoteling. Got reamed over it. Who takes the train to big city? Drive yourself next time and stay in the hotel. We don't have Amtrak as a payee in the system. Okay.
The last line says it all.
By the time we get a vendor fully ready to roll in our system, we've spent about $150 in labor, but good thing our field users who do the majority of the entries don't bother looking to see if vendors are already in the system. In just one database I found 200 identical, and uniquely dated IDs for one vendor, ourselves. Once went to a conference a couple hours away. Saw the conference was about 5 minutes from a state campground and decided to book the campground for $35 for the whole conference. Got an email from the business office telling me they don't reimburse vacations and I cannot stay at the campground, so I cancelled it and booked the $450 a night conference resort. Took then less than an hour to call and say I could stay at the campground just this once.
I'm sorry, but the campground is no longer available. I had the last spot, but it's gone now. I know, you wouldn't do that. But it's good to pretend once in a while.
It would have been hilarious, but $450/night ate up my whole travel budget for the year, so I took the campground and went to 2 other conferences also.